I am so excited about our topic today. It's about caring for the caregiver. If you are a caregiver, I am speaking directly to you. It is so important that you care for yourself. If this is your first time joining, I'm Dr. Frances Richards, and that's a PhD in business. I want to be very clear. If you are looking to make changes in your health, your wellness, or engaging in any exercise, you always want to connect with your healthcare provider. That is so important. So I'm giving these tips and strategies. Many may know me as the host of Black Entrepreneur Experience podcast, where I talk to Black entrepreneurs all over the world from the Black diasporas. And so this year, 2023, I want to focus on mental wellness and weight management. Why? Because as an entrepreneur, I see so many women struggling with showing up as their best self. So I want to give you tips and strategies. And I want to say to you, if you have a topic that you would like me to chat about, let me know because it's really all about you, helping you elevate and showing up for your best self. So today, this episode is actually dedicated to caregivers. I do know firsthand what it's like to be a caregiver, and it's so important that we lean in and that we level up when it comes to our own health. Who is caring for the caregiver? So I want to give a shout out to all the caregivers, whether you are a first responder, a nurse, a doctor, if you are a spouse, a parent, if you're an adult. If you're an adult caring for your parents, my heart goes out to you. If you are a spouse caring for your loved one, my heart goes out to you. So I want to give you some tips and strategies. What can you do to make sure that your own mental health and managing your weight during that season? It is so important that you make sure that you are taking care of yourself. So, what is some strategies that is so important? Rest. And you are probably saying, rest? How are you starting out with rest? Um, and that is so important. You want to try to get as much rest as possible. And I know that when you're operating as a caregiver, that can be very difficult. If you have someone that can sit with the person that you're caring for, that would be ideal for you to get extra time to sleep. Another strategy is when I talk about rest, if you have the ability to just check into a hotel or an Airbnb for some hours away, remove yourself from the environment that you're caring for, if that is possible. When I was a caregiver for my husband, he was in dialysis for some hours. So I used that time to rest, to reset, and to kind of rejuvenate. That is going to be so important because it is a very emotional time. As a caregiver, you're dealing with a lot of pressure, a lot of stress. So, rest is going to be very key. Hydration, drinking a lot of water. You will hear me talk a great deal about water. Water is so important. What that's going to do is it's going to help with not only your skin being vibrant or revitalizing your body, but it's going to give you mental clarity. It's going to be so important as the caregiver because if you're engaging with doctors and you're trying to ensure the information is correctly, you want to make sure that you're on point. So drinking a lot of water is another key strategy. Another thing you want to do is make sure that you have I want to say, get help. If during that moment you feel super stressed, if you need to see a therapist, you want to surround yourself with individuals that's going to put you in the no judgment zone. Depending on how long you've been caring for that person or the stages that you're at in caring for that person, it's so important that your mental health, your mental wellness is very strong. So if you do need to see a therapist, make sure that you surround yourself with individuals that is giving you nothing but love because it's a critical time and you're going to have moments that possibly that you're breaking, that you're stressed. You may say some things that someone might think is a little bit harsh or unkind. So you want to be around individuals that can actually help you manage during this time. That is so important. So we talked about rest. Sleep is get as much sleep as you possibly can. Not just resting. When I'm talking about resting, I'm talking about unplugging, unwinding. Relaxation is very important. If you can find time to relax, sometimes just taking a walk. If you have a breather, if you have another thing that happened when I was a caregiver, I would have different nurses and different care providers that would come in to see my husband. At that moment, that gave me the opportunity to just take a walk around the block, to just kind of inhale and exhale, take those deep breaths. It sounds very simple, but those things are really going to help you push through, and it's going to give you what you need, because the key is for you to be strong, for your body to be intact, for the journey, but to make sure that you are not feeling the pressure. You're looking at ways to kind of de-stress, revitalize yourself, and rejuvenate, so you can be the best loving caregiver that I know that you are. I want to tell you this information is only informational, educational purposes only. You always want to connect with your physician if you're doing anything pertaining to your mental wellness. When you're dealing with weight management, you always want to consult your doctor, because that's your first person that you want to contact with. Again, we're talking about, as a caregiver, who is caring for the caregiver? If your body breaks down, who's going to care for the loved one that you're caring for? So it's very important that you get some type of exercising. You might say, I don't even have time. Just taking a walk. Even if you walk, let's say you're not able to get out, I always call this commercial exercise. We know now there's so many commercials on television, even if you walked in place. And the beauty that we're living in the technology age, you can always put on a YouTube video, whether you're doing yoga or some type of exercise. If you can get exercise in your body, something simple, that is going to help with your mental wellness. It's going to ensure that you are actually maintaining your weight. That is so key and critical. One thing I want to share with you as a caregiver, one of the things that I noticed that I my weight had gotten out of control as a caregiver. I was carrying too much stress. And so, what I had to do, the help that I had to seek, I had to hire a health coach. Why? Because I knew that I, at that moment, could not be accountable to my husband and also accountable to myself. So I had to seek help. So I had a health coach. He held me accountable for the things that what I was injecting in my mouth. I didn't want to think about a plan. I didn't want to think about anything. And so that was a safe place and a safe space for me. That's what I did. I hired a health coach to help me through managing as a caregiver. So some of the things that help me, definitely exercise. I do exercise 6 days a week. I continue to exercise 6 days a week. And during the time that I was a caregiver, it was during COVID. So we know that we were locked in and we didn't have the ability to go to a gym. So what I did is I had equipment within my house that I could make sure that I get exercise in. When my husband was resting, I would make sure that I took time. Another thing, that when we talk about relaxation, one of the things you can do, a simple bubble bath or a hot shower, something that is going to allow you to decompress and to de-stress. I can't share with you how valuable my circle of friends were during that time. I had friends that were confidants that I could talk to. They were very safe. They knew when we know that pressure will bust a pipe. So you want to make sure that you are alleviating that pressure because that's where the mental stress come in. That's when you start making decisions that are not healthy for you in terms of overindulging in food that may not be good for your body. So you want to fuel your body during that moment. That's so important. We talked about hydration. We talked about sleep. We talked about relaxation. And if you need help, get help. Dr. Francis Richards, and we are live at 5 with No Jive. If there's a topic that you would like me to discuss, you can text me at 702-781-0069. Join us tomorrow for Live at 5 with No Jive with Dr. Francis Richards. And I want to thank you for tuning in and making health your priority this year. Talk to you later.